Okay, so good morning. Welcome to this series of online sessions dedicated to creative industries in China, academic and professional perspectives, which is part of UNFLOW, Autumn International School, which is organized in partnership with Italy-China Council Foundation. My name is Silvia Ravazzani, and I'm Associate Professor in Management at University. And together with me, Francesco Boggio Ferraris from Italy-China Council Foundation. And we will be serving today as moderators, as well as in the next days for the next sessions. Now, we start with this session dedicated to the creative industry of design. We'll first listen to our expert speakers, and then we'll save 15 minutes towards the end of this time together for your questions from the audience, in case you have any curiosity for our panelists. I just want to say, please be advised that this seminar will be recorded for all participants. So I'm honored to introduce our speaker for the academic side. We have Dr. Pirola, a researcher in design and lecture in arts and design events for creative industries, interior architecture, and fit out at Yale University. So thank you so much for being with us, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I'm very pleased to be here and to try to introduce the design system of our city and our nation to all the persons that are online. If we can start with the presentation. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Our agenda for today is divided in 9 points. I just make a short presentation of the 9 steps that we will face. We will start with the design definition, and then European support on design system, and then 3 important way to divide the design system. So the design system of profession, the design system of production, and design system of education. Then we will look about the culture of design as a driver of innovation. And then we go deeply inside our city, the city of our university, Milano, as a renowned capital of international design. And then we look inside the city, what happened, which kind of net. There is a big network about museum and cultural places. And then we will finish with the most important venue that we have, that is called the Salone del Mobile, is the most international fair that we have, and also the happenings of the Fuori Salone. Design is a discipline as historical as mutable in its contemporaneity of numerous factors that continually redefine it according to social needs and economic potential. Design is a strategic sector for the cultural, social, and economic growth of a community made up of constantly moving circle of designers, producers, sellers, consumers, observers, and of course, students. Design stands at the intersection of 4 poles between culture and business and between art and consumptions. Design is an English word with deep Latin and so Italian roots. Disegnare, to draw, to visualize, to imagine, and designare, to select, decide, to order, which is activated and manifests itself through 2 antennas that constantly and by definition look at the future. Innovation is the spark that sets the engine of the in motion, and creativity is the lifeblood of this system made up of ideas, action, and people. Furthermore, design also contains a semiotic reference to the action of leaving a sign, hence the signature in English, and therefore the uniqueness left by an author or a group of, who makes gesture of designing and realize a product or a service, or today we could also say an experience. On general and global level, we find ourselves in a long moment of transition, which could prove epochal and which is rewriting new paradigms for contemporary design. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals 2030 of the United Nations, and the more recently the programs of the European Union, Next Generation EU, Repower EU, and the new European Bauhaus, and the name Bauhaus, that is not by chance, comes from the most important historical school of design ever, are trying to orient the industry towards the production of more sustainable goods and services from both an environmental and social point of view, in the idea that this path make our economies and societies more fair and competitive, also thanks to what design can do. Design can draft possible futures by helping all citizens to co-plan change, help institutions improve cities, accompany the growth and updating of business skills. According to Eurostat, in 2020, there were 222,000 design activities companies in the European Union. Italy, Germany, France, and Spain overall represent 48% of the union companies. Italy with 16.2% as the leadership, albeit by a few companies over France and other close nations. Employment in the world of design in Europe numbers 283,000 people. In the overall ranking, Italy occupies the leading position, accounting for 19.1% of the total community design employment, followed by Germany with 16%, France 13%, and Spain 5%. The negative consequences of the pandemic crisis emerged clearly when looking at the dynamics of the turnover of the sector, which in 2020 recorded a decline of 13.5% and of a negative turnover for 20 countries out of 27 of the European Union. Focusing attention on the largest country, a heavy minus 29% emerges in France, minus 18% in Germany, minus 16% in Italy, minus 11% in Spain. In 2020, design companies recorded more than 20 billion euros in turnover. Italy holds an absolute record among the 27 member countries, contributing to the community figure of a share of 19.9 for a value that exceeds 4 billion euros. Italy is recognized worldwide for excellence in manufacturing and industrial development and production, and Made in Italy is an informal brand and undisputed synonymous for quality, so much so that the current national government officially established recently for the first time the Ministry of Enterprise and Made in Italy, with a dedicated page to design. A methodological note to understand these data and this information. When we talk about design, companies, and enterprise, we mean all the organization and planning activities for the creation of a product or a service. However, these activities are also closely linked to the production part, industrial, artisanal, or technical in general, which is dedicated to the actual realization of that product or that service. In Italy, there is an estimation of 36,000 active operators in the design sector, divided between 20,000 professionals and almost 16,000 companies, data of 2020, with employments growing to 63,000 units. It is very difficult to try to give an estimation of precise numbers because there are many nuances and variations on how design can be linked to a profession, including planning, services, communication, events, etc., especially if you think how design can be added value in giving quality to a production activity, as they say, design-driven. These initial data mainly concern those employed in the design of products, furnishing, and services, and which may also involve the fields of architecture and construction. By analyzing all the activities that have design as their primary commodity code, adding those that have the word design in the heading, we arrive at the total number of 50,000 active operators offering design services in Italy. In relation to the areas of specialization, what I call design declination, 53.5% of the organization indicate product design as the main area of activity, which includes furniture and accessories for interior and exteriors, fashion, automotive, lighting, consumer electronics, technological equipments, packaging, rapid prototyping, craftsmanship. Communication and multimedia design follows with 28%, which includes activities such as graphics, art direction, branding, advertising and marketing, publishing, video making and photography, social media and content creation, and data visualization. at a greater distance, space design 12%, digital interaction design 4%, and service design 1.5%. The Italian design market is 67% national, 24% global, 8.6% European. Among the sectors driving the demand for design services, furniture stands out 14%, followed at a greater distance by other manufacturing products, including fashion 6.6%, lighting 6.4%, product and for construction 5.2%, tourism and food service, and mechanical automation, and all the others groups. The regional distribution highlights the strong concentration of activities in Lombardy and specifically in the province of Milano. The Lombardy region hosts 29% of Italian businesses in design, 28% of overall employment, and 32% of turnover. Lombardy is in the lead among the regions. If Lombardy is in the lead among the regions, Milan is in the lead among the provinces and confirmed the position noted in previous reports. The area concentrates 14% of businesses, 18% of turnover, and 14% of national employment. After these first data from the world of design services, which bring together the professional sphere of creative and organizational proposal, we introduce the world of production of the leading sector, i.e. furniture, which is even more complex and structured into Microsystem coordinated by Federlegno Arredo. Federlegno Arredo is the Italian federation of the Association of Wood Manufacturing Industries and all furniture categories. It protects and represents the interest of the industrial supply chain, which goes from the processing of the wood as raw material to the production of furnishing and accessories for all the environments. The residential one with kitchen and bathroom sector, the working one from the office to the commercial, up to that of the free time, which is a special section dedicated to lights, setups, and packaging. Federlegno Arredo is also responsible for the organization of the most important sector fair in the world, the Salone del Mobile, which we will talk about later. Federlegno has more than 2,100 member companies with a number of employees that exceeds 70,000. And in Lombardy, there are almost a third of the associated companies, about 682. The entire Italian wood furniture supply chain represented turnover of 56.5 billion euros in 2022, which correspond to 4.6% of the national manufacturing turnover, 14.9% of the companies, and 8% of employees. The furniture industry is greatly influenced by the real estate market, the construction sector and the architecture, of course, the world of tourism, and the topic of smart working, which change habits in private homes, especially after the new technological methods of connection and communication and opportunities acquired with the pandemic. And today we are an example of this new way to communicate all around the world. The furnishing Microsystem includes subsystems dedicated to home furnishing, professional and commercial furniture, bathroom furnishing, office, and lighting. In 2022, the production turnover of the furniture Microsystem is close to 29 billion euros, both sales on the domestic market plus 9% and above all export plus 12% contribute to determining the overall trend, which is worth 15.3 billion euros and represent 53% of the total turnover. There are approximately 21,000 Italian companies operating in the furniture Microsystem with almost 140,000 total employees. In 2022, export of the furniture Microsystem increased by 12% for a total of over 15 billion euros. The first destination is confirmed as France, with 60% shares of the total export, followed by United States, which with an export of 7.8 billion and a significant variation of plus 25%. And the third nation is Germany, with 1.4 billion and plus 5%. And China ranks seventh with 578 million and growth of 3.8%. Compared to 2021, we note the exit of Russia, that has still today 290 million euros, minus 24%, from the list of the top 10 foreign markets in the sector because, of course, of the Ukrainian situation, replaced by United Arab Emirates with 300 million, with the greatest growth of plus 31%. The wood microsystem is in the other hand is the second pillar of the Federlegno, includes subsystem dedicated to primary wood processing, semi-finished products for furniture, panels, packaging, doors and windows, curtains, building products, and coffins. There are 30,000 companies operating in the wood macrosystem, while the number of employees is 130,000. The Italian wood furniture supply chain has a shortage of raw materials and is very dependent on foreign countries for the procurement of woods. In 2022, the value of imports rose to over 7 billion euros. Austria, with over 1.5 billion euros and growth of 35%, confirming itself as the leading supplier, followed by Germany and China, which is one of the nations with the highest growth. We mainly import semi-finished furniture products from China and panels from Germany. Thanks in particular to the good performance of the panel system, plus 27%, 2022 closed with the export for wood microsystem amounting to 55 billion euros. The top 10 destinations shows positive trends, with the exception of China, which has stopped importing from Italy, stable at minus 0.3%. In all this data, we are not mentioning here the whole theme of the so-called economy of beauty, which concern the artistic and cultural and therefore tourist and economic components of our country, in which architecture and, of course, design have a fundamental role. These companies are called design-driven and are estimated to a number of more 300,000, with an annual turnover of more than 600 billion euros and a contribution to the national gross domestic product of 17%. Central to the widespread system, especially if we also want to include beauty in the creative and cultural industry sectors, is the nucleus made up of school and training institutes dedicated to those who are entering the world of work and who need also a specific skill and knowledge in the strategic, managerial, and communication field. Moving on to talk about education, the training offered in design and installing characterized by a development of the social, environmental, and technological context, and by the parallel evolution of the role and profession of design. An evolution that over the years has led to change in objectives and content, expanding not only the themes and area of intervention addresses with the study courses, but also the disciplinary and professional skills called upon that compose the programs. In 21-22 academic year, almost 100 institutions have activated study courses in design disciplines, all at higher and advanced levels, including university, fine arts academies, numerous private institutes, for a total of more than 300 study courses distributed throughout the national territory at various training levels and in different areas of specialization. Growing are not only the institutes, but also the demand and the number of students, amounting today about 50,000 and 3.8% more than the previous academic year. Even in the case of education, Milan is the most attractive and structured city in terms of the educational offer and the connection with the productive place, which provide direct job opportunities to graduates. Overall, almost half of those enrolled in design live in North, 44%, in particular in Lombardy, 60%. Finally, it is the University of the North that have most attractive for foreign students, more than half of whom study in Lombardy. The multiplication of the offer, the high number of applications compared to the available places, the excellent employment, the outcomes, and the continuous expansion of the professional fields of the designer make it necessary to continuously reflect on the boundaries, specificities, and quality of the teaching for the scientific knowledge and essential skill. This is also where the new degree course in fashion and creative industries at Yale University Milano comes in, which after 2 years preparation for the professional work between fashion and design has a specific address in his third year, all dedicated to design and to all the new skills in this field that are emerging from a very dynamic labor market. The culture of design is therefore the flame that illuminates and warms this discipline, and Milano, also for the data we have seen, but not only, is the ideal place to keep this culture alive. It is a city that offers countless opportunities for knowledge and research, for specific cutting-edge training. I often tell my students that they are sitting on a gold mine, both in terms of heritage and history and in terms of contemporary professional opportunities. It is necessary to talk about the city of Milano as a sort of cultural district, the epicenter of the history of Italian and then European and now global design. In that was the only city that was constantly open to modernity in Italy, with at first the necessary craftsmanship and then an industrial network, always open to new ideas. Paraphrasing the etymology of the name Milano, that was in Latin Mediolanum, that means the land in the middle, could be seen as the land of the media, and the media is what connects all the dots of the network of design. Milano is called the capital of international design, hosts all the showrooms of the most important brands that install in the city center their places of representation, and is home to important institutions that preserve and promote the culture of design. In this history, the Milano Triennale represents the first reference institution for design and more generally for the Italian and international artistic and creative world. The Triennale, which was born in Monza in the northern suburbs of Milano in the Brianza area, which is today the first industrial furniture district, as an international exhibition of decorative arts, moved to Milano in 1933 and housed in the new Palazzo dell'Arte in the central park, the Parco Sempione, in our city. Conceived as a flexible modular container for exhibition, the building is a polyfunctional space that was truly innovative for the period and in which it was built, and it is still an ideal setting for the design culture. Close to the Triennale, as integral part of the Central Museum de Castel, in the center of the city, the Museum of Furniture and Wooden Sculpture was formed in 1908. Museums of decorative art like these were born in the 19th century as a repository of objects with a didactic function, as the place that would ensure craftsmen and artists would have access to models for their training. The Milan department store La Rinascente is very important too, founded in 1917 in the center of Milano, where it is still today in front of the Duomo Cathedral, was the first large department store for clothes and home furnishing, with the goal of offering products of quality but at democratic prices. This commercial activity invented the Compasso d'Oro Award in 1954, that is the most highly recognized award for design, product, research, and merit, and is the oldest prize still running today. It was introduced to promote the aesthetic of a product and the nascent Italian industrial design. The organization of the Compasso d'Oro Award was then taken over from Rinascente by the newly formed Associazione per il Disegno Industriale, ADI. The most important Italian professional association for design is instead ADI, Associazione per il Disegno Industriale, that was founded in Milano in 1956. From the very outset, the ADI was a very special cultural association, a very untypical, because it was not just open to designers from every field, but also to companies, to schools, to researchers, to journalists, bringing together all the different design and production components of the world of design, and thereby helping to encourage innovation among companies and in the culture of design, which out of necessity was at the service of the capital. After decades of activity for the promotion of design, with a collection of thousands of pieces that make up the historical collection of the Compasso d'Oro Award, in 2020 opened a new cultural space protagonist for this discipline and for this city, the new ADI Design Museum Compasso d'Oro Collection. Here you can retrace all the edition of the award with all the awarded objects that best represent the development process of Italian design from the 50s to today. The Compasso d'Oro Award celebrates Italian design every 2 years and increases the collection of this new museum for our city. Museo Impresa is another important place, is a network, is the Italian Association of Business Archives and Corporate Museums, brings together over 130 museums and archives of large, medium, and small Italian companies. This cultural and historical network is committed to bringing together new players in business culture, influencing training processes, safeguarding Italian industrial history, and showcasing the evidence of an extraordinary manufacturing capability that is the driver of sustainable development in the cornerstone of a widespread economic, social, and civil culture. The city hosts the most important trade fair in the sector at global level, the Salone del Mobile, which welcomes every year from 62 editions visitors from all over the world. The Salone del Mobile is an hub of experimentation and cross-pollination, a place for interface and fresh opportunities for reflection on the world of design and planning. Each year, the Salone del Mobile brings its good-looking and well-made products back onto an international important stage, whilst also being proof on how the evolution of the trade fair process can be accelerated. Over the last few difficult years, the Salone has initiated a concrete revision of its exhibition format, geared to continuing to generate value for the entire design community. In the edition of this year, 2023, for the first time, a number of cultural occasions, such as a design and contemporary art exhibition, have been organized within the fair, with the aim of raising the quality level of the commercial offering. In this year, with its return to its traditional period in April after the pandemic, the Salone del Mobile hosted 15% more visitors, registering about 300,000 attendance with about 2,000 exhibitors from all over the world. China again became the first country after Italy, followed by Germany, France, and the United States. And this is the data of the next Salone del Mobile in April from 16 to 21 of April 2024. The Salone del Mobile is moreover a master in networking among the companies in the supply chain, but also with the city of Milano, in osmosis that in recent years has made Milano Design Week, with more than 1,000 events in palimpsest, a reference appointment for the whole international design community. The attractiveness of Design Week is demonstrated with more than 500,000 unique attendance in the city during 1 week of the fair, not just inside the fair, but also outside the fair. There is a lot of informal place and venue of presentation. To conclude this overview of all the different complementary links that make up the context of Italian design connected with the city of Milano, mention must be made to the importance and the success that all these different bodies and events have had over the years among people who are just curious or have direct benefit. Nowadays, during the spring week in the Salone del Mobile, the city of Milano is literally transformed and becomes an enormous exhibition space invited by hundreds of thousands of people, including students, designers, company representatives, and many, many, many common observers as potential clients. This literal invasion is commonly called fuori salone, that is mean literally off fair, out of the salone, a series of events that take place outside of the Salone del Mobile and its usual setting. The Fuori Salone is rather an anomalous event which developed spontaneously in the city to connect in a spontaneous way all the different private and alternative events that have gradually attracted the attention of the general public, who can enjoy this artistic and design event free of charge. I'm at the conclusion, and I hope you appreciate this connection of stories, data around the city of Milano and design system. And I invite you, of course, to visit our city, our university, and our design venues in the future. Thank you, and grazie.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this complete, I would say, overview with so many insights into this design, so complex, so interesting, really.
Yes. I tried to summarize, but it's very complex because, as I mentioned, when we talk about design, there is a big confusion, because also fashion is part of design, automotive is part of the design. Milano is important for the furniture, but not just, because all the communication system can be also added to fashion, to automotive, and also to mechanical products that has to be designed by someone. So it's important to understand where the data come from and maybe to look them in a big picture, let's say.
Yeah, but you had, I think, a lot navigating this complexity, and I don't know, maybe our audience will have some questions later on. So thank you. Moving on, Francesco.
Yes, Silvia, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Pirolo. I think we are ready to introduce and welcome our next guest, Professor and architect Massimo Roy. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I think he's connecting right now. Good morning. Good morning, Massimo. Ciao. Welcome. We can't hear you now. Maybe maybe you have to unmute. Try again, please. We can't hear you. Maybe you have your microphone in mute.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Loud and clear.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Loud and clear. Thank you for being with us, Massimo. And so we have many people connected in Italy and a bit over the world. So we're very, very honored to host you, to have a speech from you. I'm going to very briefly introduce you and your work, so in order to leave you the floor and then take us to a journey between China and Italy, of course, in the field of design and architecture, which is yours. But before leaving to you and starting your lesson, I really like to share with all our audience a couple of information about your studio, and you, of course, yourself. We know that you've been working for international renowned design studios for many years now, and in 1994 you have founded the Projecto CMR here in Milan. Projecto CMR is also an important and historical, let's say, partner and here of Italy-China Council Foundation. So we are 2 times happy to have you this morning. And Projecto CMR is an integrated design company among the top 100 in the world, according to the very famous and important ranking of BD World Architecture, and at the head of a group that includes other 9 companies specializing in different areas of design. During your career, during your consolidated career, you've been gained significant experience in Italy, for sure. But that's the reason we invited you today, also abroad, and especially in the important market and country of China, which is China. And speaking about China, you are also visiting professor at Tianjin University and Beijing Jiaotong University, also here in Milan, of course, at Polytechnic School of Design. But it's important to say that the contents and the important features about design and architecture that you share with your students, these are done here in Italy, but also in China. In China, where in 2017, only to outline somehow one of the many numbers, dates, and figures that tell your story and the story of CMR, in 2017, you have been named Ambassador of Italian Design in the World, appointed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also in China, during the Design Impact China competition, your studio has been awarded like one of the top 10 most influential design firms. I think these are a few information that need to be shared, just to know your history, a long history, and your effort in this important country. But you're a professor as well, so I know you have many things to tell us and our students. So I like to leave you the floor, and we listen very carefully just to take a couple of questions, maybe in a half an hour time. So thank you, Massimo, again.
Thank you very much, Francesco, for your introduction. And hope to be able to explain my personal experience in China during this 23 years. First of all, good morning again, everyone. I would like to thank the ICCF Academy and your university for an invitation for this lecture. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today to talk about my personal experience in China. First of all, let me briefly introduce myself and my company. I'm an Italian architect, as Francesco said, and the founder and principal of Projecto CMR, a Milan-based integrated design architectural firm established in '94 to provide innovative design solutions for our life. Since we started, we have continued to grow, and today our company is made up of different entities specialized in various sectors. You can see the picture here. Projecto CMR is a company specialized in integrated design, funded with the aim of creating flexible, efficient, and sustainable spaces through the application of a method which analyzes the client's needs while paying particular attention to well-being and human-scale design. Created by professionals with a strong international background in space planning and interior design, it extended its outbreak to different fields, from building design to urban planning. Our headquarters are in Milan, and we have actually 8 offices around the world, including China, of course. So let's get to the heart of today's theme in the context of this cycle of meetings about the relationship between Italy and China. I will describe you the experience of Projecto CMR in the wonderful country in China, of course. This story started in 2002 when I arrived in China with an Italian delegation. Was an institution and economic delegation. I discovered an incredible dynamic world in constant evolution, with very modern large cities, rich of skyscrapers and high-rise buildings. Facing this new world, I would not help but ask myself if I could contribute with my own experience, which of an Italian, or let me say, a European architect to this development. I therefore wanted to explore the approach of Projecto CMR to China. So first of all, I related myself to this new world through a new humanistic approach based on this design from inside towards the outside. And this is also a title of a book we just published a few weeks ago. And always it maintains a very deep respect of tradition and local culture. Inside Out is a method that centers around human beings and the design process that meets their needs. A consolidated design methodology guides all the professionals involved in every aspect of phases of a project, whether the object of the works is an office or in an entire city. People's needs guide to design from an inside to the outside, from a small scale to a large scale. This is another crucial issue, is that the interpersonal relationship, which are essential to create links of trust and outline common goals. In fact, a key word that plays a strategic role in China is relationship, Guanxi. Interpersonal relationship can only make a difference. Surely the context has changed a lot since 2002 when we started to take our first steps in Tianjin. At that time, the city was smaller and full of old buildings. That the first built cities like Beijing or Shanghai, and less fierce competition. A favorable combination that helped us a lot. On the other hand, it was less international than now, a condition that sometimes made everything a little bit more complicated. In this sense, the support of a local friends was invaluable. One of my best friends who gave me my Chinese name is Madali, and we worked together side by side with this engineer that became my first friend. Then, in addition to the centrality of relations, which in China takes one of very particular connotation, we have exported the method of Projecto CMR, that is the integrated design, which we have been carrying out since '94. What does that mean? It means that thanks to the integration of multiple disciplines such as architecture, engineering, interior design, we are able to offer the customer an efficient and a quality solution. In particular, we have identified 10 actions that are crucial to pursuing an integrated approach in the context of urban development. All these elements that we gave to the Chinese government around 8-10 years ago, I don't remember well, must be considered in an integrated manner to ensure the holistic sustainability of the project, which will thus take into account the architectural, social, economic, and ecological dimension. I will go through these 10 points to explain you better the meaning. First, to design for change. It is evident that cities are involved in a constant process of evolution. Thus, it is necessary to create a flexible solution that allow maximum adaptation with minimum effort and cost. Second, tradition and modernity. Modern cities require a rich fabric with a blend of all the new elements of tradition and innovation, of memory and vision, preserving local traditions while introducing new elements and advanced technologies. Third, it is important to create a mix of functions, such as residential, commercial, retail, cultural, and entertainment facilities, allowing for maximum fruition of spaces and synergies. Fourth, transportation. A green city should offer a clear separation of public, private, and pedestrian transportation, allowing citizens to rediscover the pleasure of walking, reducing urban traffic. The fifth, creating venues. Small-scale aggregative spaces, such as squares, sidewalk cafe, and mom-and-pop stores should be preserved to provide venues for social interaction. The piazza, the Italian word, as a meeting place, a hub of city life, a crossroads for people and their stories. 6, focusing on eco-densities. The contrast, the spread of the city and to contrast the spread of the cities and to reduce the use of the territory, it is necessary to focus on density design and eco-densities, reinforcing social and creative dimensions of individuals. Vertical building development allows saving space for transportation, green areas, and public venues. 7, it is necessary for work on the building level, minimizing its energy demand and maximizing its efficiency. to transform into self-sufficient structure through the use of technology, innovative materials, and natural resources while respecting the characteristic of the location. 8. Bioclimatic and bioenergetic design. We must take up the canons of classical architecture, intrinsically linked to the nature of the place, to maximize effect using the latest technologies. Then, quality. It's extremely important to understand how design must be characterized by high quality. Quality means both as construction techniques and quality as value perceived by people who will live inside our projects. And last but not least, integrated design shall be at the basis of a sustainable design, the only design methodology capable of controlling cost, time, and the quality of the project. So, as an integrated process in which considerations on environment, society, and governance, ESG, are the key points in the development of design, both on urban and territorial scale. In China, like most foreign design companies, we are only allowed to manage the concept and schematic design phases. Therefore, having to entrust all of other design phases to local design structure we call design institutes. However, the integration design approach and the know-how gain have helped us to tackle projects of dimension and characteristics never seen in Italy, managing from the very first stages to give very specific indication on how to manage the next step of design. Although we have been working in China for more than 20 years, it's a country that has never ceased to amaze us, especially teaching us every day something new about the new way of working, about the professional and cultural approach in a context that is certainly distant from ours. Generally speaking, in an increasingly competitive and challenging market like China, it is essential to have a solid and a strong foundation on which to rest. To the quality of thinking and knowing how, it is essential to combine a very well-structured presence with consolidated knowledge and skills, inspired by a clear and defined vision in the long term. All this allowed us to achieve extraordinary results, both in terms of presence in the territory and on the volume of projects. This picture shows you our office building in Beijing. Our journey to China begins with some competition we joined in Tianjin, where we opened our first office in 2004, followed by a second office in Beijing in 2006. Project continued to increase, staff increased as well, and in 2010 we moved to Tianjin new office in the largest location. We did the same in Beijing, moving in this building in 2013. So here are some numbers about the project we developed in China, which are more than 200, more than 2 million square meter design and built, around 7.5 million square meter project, and around 800,000 square meter under construction, and so on. So are really big numbers for an Italian design firm. So Now I can show you some of our best projects done in China, and this is the core of our work, and now I can show you some of them. The first project is Shantao Big Data Valley in Chongqing. Chongqing was an incredible city for me, and I never saw so huge city. It's you can understand in Chongqing is living now around more than half population of Italy. So in Italy we are 60 million. Chongqing hosts around 35, 38 million. So it was absolutely crazy for a European architect and an Italian architect like myself. The aim of this project amongst the finalists of the 2018 MIPIM Awards, that is the most important event in real estate market all over the world, we were awarded for Best Future Mega Project, is to achieve office, production and living facility integration to meet the demands of the new generation of IT industry, with a precise target, designing a self-sufficient and fully sustainable district. So let me say that the city of the future are polycentric cities, and Chongqing is a clear example of that. So we design a new district, self-sufficient district, well connected to other districts inside this huge city. In particular, as you can see from the master plan, the willingness of the client to perceive his core business, big data, not as an abstract entity, but as a tangible reality, is behind the project, which in 700,000 square meters envisages gardens and park and lake and 20 buildings, the first example of net zero emission building in Chongqing. Just a few words on the process. We were called by the municipality, defining a huge master plan. We were talking about more than 24 square kilometers. Then they split it in four phases and in four elements of the master plan. One of these small place was around 6 million square meter, was bought by Big Data Valley, Shantao company, and they invite us for another competition that was a building design competition, and we won. So we were able to design from the first step, the master plan for the municipality, to the second one that was for the developer and the user. So the design was for a huge district, as I said, having offices, apartments, shops, school, luxury hotel, and other structure to guarantee more livable space for the inhabitants. In this way, the project combines high-tech IT facilities with a full range of residential facilities. It's really the city on 15 minutes where the people can move, walking, riding bicycle, or using electrical transport, public transport system. The district is designed in order to offer an advanced community system ready to accept and to win the challenges of the new era of the information technology, while being entirely focused on the community, the real core of this project, through the real true protagonist of the project, the human being. So here you can see the landmark of the project, a trilobic building that stands for the three core bases of data processing: storage, sensing, and data mining, and which will be the main office complex of the project area. And it is the headquarters of Shantao Big Data Valley company. The three buildings are symbolically united at the top by a circular structure, which works as an exhibition space, a showroom where visitors and clients can enjoy a powerful view of the surrounding area at 150 meters high. In this picture, you can see the ring growing up during the construction phases. They spent around, I don't remember, 3 weeks. They built the ring downstairs on the ground, and they push up using 12 cranes, and was a really incredible moment of this construction. This is a picture of construction phases when I've been there on the second or the third time. And here you can see the complete project. Thin, transparent glass walls, just like the border which separates the virtual and the real, determining the clean volumes of the towers, in harmony with the soft and dynamic shapes of the residential buildings, and in contrast with the nearby area used as office lofts, distinguished by sculpture, this sculptural shape. Now, from this picture, you cannot see well. I had a video, but you can find the video on our website, where you can go through the district. You can see the final result. So we can go through another project. Slow River Bay is the second project. Is an example of integration of contemporaneity and tradition in a breathtaking environment, the Manjiang master plan in Changbaishan area, North China. This incredible landscape close to the Changbai Mountains Nature Reserve and China and Korean border is the marvelous background to the country's first, and it is the first eco, slow, and smart village done in China. We work a lot with the clients to get this important target. The nature indeed inspired the design concept, which recalls the leaves on whose veins the new village is developed. The very first request of the client was to build 3 hotel towers. But when I've been there, I saw the incredible landscape. We suggested to do a different kind of project, a spread out hotel system instead of 3 big hotel towers, to create an environment that naturally follows the tradition features of the place. We started from some typical traditional Chinese element. The main entrance, the gate, was a bridge connected this island. This is a river island. You can see maybe better in the previous picture. I can move back here. Here you can see the nature, the river. Here was freezed, and here you can see better the water, the main square, and the link between the main entrance here to the main square. So we designed a red path that guides the visitors along the route from the gate that symbolized the village gate, the typical Chinese gate, using red color, that is a typical Chinese color. And the entrance up to the opposite point twist and turning through the buildings that make up the island. It's really a spread out hotel system. Here you can see the render and the final picture. This is the first building. This is the main entrance, and is a public building. And I didn't tell you, here we are in an incredible area full of spring waters. So we found the spring waters there, and the village was around this concept. This is the main pool of spring water. The temperature of the water is over 35, if I don't remember well. And the village is designed to be lived at its best, thanks to a number of commercial entertainment activities, and that will bring the life all year round, summer and winter, creating a place that is open to community and society, alive and pleasant to explore, inspired by slow city guidelines. Also here you can see the main square, the render, and on the other side, the town hall and the entrance of the main street. The concept here is having three receptions for the three hotels. The first one is at the entrance of the island, close by the hot spring water, and this mainly for healthy people, let me say that, who love to do sport and enjoy the hot spring after sport. The second reception is in the main square. It's the symbol, the tower bell. In Italy, we got the church, the tower church, but it's the same. Our culture are really very close. We are maybe China and Italy, the longest culture in the world, and we have a very close elements in our history. So the second reception is here. It's mainly for family who want to enjoy the square and the store and the retail facilities. The third reception is at the end of the village, is in the more quiet area, and it's a sort of very quiet and typical mountain hotel. And then all the rooms are around the village. Some of them are close by the reception, but most of the rooms are inside the village. So at the end, inside this village, around 12,000 people can enjoy the place and the nature. These are some pictures of the place. So let's go to South China, in Ningbo, where we design Duo Art Gallery. It's a sort of museum. It's a modern concept of museum. We won 3 awards, and maybe the most famous is the 8th Nest Award in, I don't remember, some years ago. Here we are in a very special natural context, and our proposal was being developed with the aim of enhancing it as much as possible. The museum was founded on a site that during the war against Japan had been used as a barn for the army. With the client, we wanted to transform it from a place to provide food for the body to a space that instead nourished the soul. So the star shape of the building is designed to allow people inside to fully enjoy the surrounding environment, maximizing the view from all angles. Natural light, in fact, is the protagonist of the project, enhanced by the large windows that cover each wing of the museum. From this drawing, you can better understand how the building is structured, where each floor is dedicated to a different activity. Inside, the environment has been deliberately left almost empty to leave space for light, nature, and art. And this empty space become alive thanks to the performance of the different artists. Here you can see also a touch of originality. We can say that. You can see the stairs and space for enjoy the events, where to stay, where is an alive space, is an alive museum that become a stimulating place where artists and intellectuals could share ideas. The artists could stay there for a long time. They can enjoy the place, finding inspiration for their artistic performances. And this is the real goal of this place. This real goal that we want to achieve. A very alive space. So if you go there now, you can find different solution inside, because it depends on the artist that is living there today. The only element that the artist must pursue is to leave a piece of their art stay there to the owner. And so is that the museum is growing year by year. So let's change the project scale. Here you can see the master plan for Jiashan city, a new urban development about 100 kilometers north of Shanghai that will house up to 25,000 residents on the area of 45 square kilometers. That promotes a carbon active development that enhances technological, economic, and social innovation while centered on human scale. This is always our target. The name of the project is H+ City, and the H+ stands for human factor together with harmony, high performance, healthy, and home, pillars on which the design of the city is based in close connection with his community and environment and nature. The innovative electric and hydrogen-driven mobility, together with community services, provide a synergetic link between the 7 districts of the H+ city, creating a varied urban landscape, able to welcome different users as residents, workers, and tourists. And then also we were able to combine the 7 districts to 7 Italian cities. And at the end, there is a very strong link between the two community. The functional coexistence and environmental variety of each district make them a city with a city, equipped with every service for inhabitants and visitors, as I said before, and is a real polycentric urban model. What I said before, it's well connected to Shanghai by Hyperloop system, so only 15 minutes when we'll be finished, and then you can live enjoying the place close to the nature, in the place where leadership Mao started his step, the first step. So let's go back to Ningbo, where in addition to Duo Art Gallery, we also designed the HKE Center for the same client, a large size intervention with unique characteristics that communicate the originality of the entrepreneur, to the point that it is hard to classify this building. It is a special hotel for his friends. It is his own office building, but at the ground floor, there is an open store for also his friend, where he show his motorbike, his cars, and where the friends can try them. They can use his own motorbikes and cars. Modern and welcoming environment places that border between the public and the private dimension, as I said, dominated by the use of glass and steel. In the picture, you can see the atrium designed as a square with relationship between different areas and to host the visitors. And over there, there is also the exposition center, but I cannot show through this picture. And then a walkway on the 9th floor leads to remarkable meeting rooms suspended in the space. It's like a net, hanging on the roof, where he received his own special clients. It's a glass floor at 50 meters from the ground. And, it's a unique meeting room. It seems like, 007 project. We play a lot with these clients to find some special elements to suggest clients and friends. But also intimate meeting rooms and private bar furnishing in wood and stone seems to anticipate the private space of the owner, which looks more like a fully fledged domestic environment than an office. And then there is also on the top a disco bar with a swimming pool, but we cannot show a picture because it's a private place. Now we are going to explore again a special hotel we designed in some years ago in Chongqing area, in North China. This is a riverside resort. The project won some important awards, including the Beijing Architectural Decoration Award during the Biennale in Beijing. The aim here was to get close as much as possible with nature, preserving and emphasizing all his beautiful aspects. The building, a 5-star hotel with all the high-level comfort, shows an interior design that combines conceptual elements from Feng Shui philosophy: earth, wood, fire, water, and metal, using Italian masterpieces, furnitures. The use of special materials such as volcano stones and raw wood expresses an harmony between human and nature blends the interior environment into a beautiful natural landscape around. This is the main entrance, the reception. And this is the spa facing the nature, and including the swimming pool, the hot spring water, a functional and elegant meeting rooms, and inside, but I cannot show the pictures. There are also 5 restaurants, typical Chinese restaurant, Italian restaurant, a European one, and having so different taste. And there is also a traditional wine, Chinese wine place where to enjoy typical Chinese wine, baijiu. And also outside you can enjoy the spring water using some other elements that we used for to give suggestion to the guest, but also you can find more pictures on our website. So let's now turn to a project that is a particularly significant from a social and cultural point of view. We are in Tianjin. This is the Tianjin Planning Exhibition Hall, a building that occupies an area of 30,000 square meters. The project characterized by typical Italian style elements reinterpreted in a contemporary way. This because it was designed for the Italian Design Center. The competition organized in 2004 was for Italian Design Center. But something happened. Maybe Italy didn't pay for the construction cost. And at the end, the municipality changed their mind and transformed the Italian Design Center in the Urban Design Museum. So at the end, is inside the Italian district. Tianjin was the only city in last century having a presence of an Italian concession, and they stayed there for 50 years. And at the end, around the main square that is called Marco Polo Square, there is now this building. And this building is considered a bridge between the 20th and 21st century. Maybe my time is over, but I can go through very quickly on some other picture only to see other few projects, and I will end my speech. This is in Xi'an. Represent a master plan, a 6 million square meter master plan. The 6 towers are, like the soldier, clay soldier, to protect the site. And for this project, we designed only master plan, not the building design. And I never been there after our competition because I don't want to see how they changed the project. From the original. This is another important project. Jinzhou is the second largest walled city in the world after Xi'an. And also here we were able to explain them how to preserve their heritage, transforming this city in a museum, an open-air museum, and demolishing all the old and terrible building done in the last centuries, and giving up more space to the original historical buildings. And also having some new buildings like this museum, and using water as the main transport system on the city. And then University Tianjin is our first job. This is the rectorship building, the first building done in China. Then we worked for them for many years, building up 4 buildings, and then we did the new master plan for the new campus. But let me end remembering what Stephen Covey said: strength lies in a difference, not in similarities. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
Thank you, Massimo, with this last line that perfectly matches, by the way, the first part of the morning where we had another guest from the fashion, Angelo Cruciani, and pretty much the model was the same. So we are very, very pleased to see that the lesson that comes from you specialists today is in order to go to this country, but first of all, to this culture, you better have an open-minded, and you better be open to absorb what is happening there and to match somehow. And in fact, you gave us so many beautiful references and projects. It's not by any chance that every day we can see the references, the projects that an architect or a designer goes through, where there's such a good balance between the contemporary taste and the, let's say, worldwide, Western, or whatever, globalization, contemporary taste, plus the tradition that comes from this millennial culture that we all know and love. So once again, thanks so much to you to your studio, and also to Professor Pirola, who gave us a wonderful introduction, more centered on the Italian and Milan point of view. But that was the main that Silvia and myself had this morning. So the idea of giving the two like a deep dive into these two worlds and the way that these two worlds can cooperate and be integrated in the industries of tomorrow, in the creative industries, of course. So, Silvia, I think we've reached the end of this first morning. I leave the word to you if you want to say one last thing. But once again,
I was too very impressed by your rich contributions, and also to see, because we've been talking a lot about how many stereotypes we might have, also with regards to China, and we see that actually it's evolving so fast, and that also this collaboration Italy-China is giving its best outcomes. So I was very pleased to be with you this morning and to hear about your overview of design and then all these applications, as Francesco said, so contemporary, so relevant in this creative industry. So it's a pity we're at the end of our time together. We don't have questions from the audience, but it's also an international audience, and these seminars actually will be online. So that's many people from around the world will have the chance to get in touch with you and be exposed to your contributions. So again, thank you so much for being with us, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.